Right. So our next topic in friction is our block on block problems. So in block on block problems, often students feel difficult. So I'll make things easy provided if you understand mainly two important things. What are those? I'll tell you. Okay. So first and foremost important thing is your highest possible value of frictional force is static friction. Okay. So first and foremost important thing is your highest possible value of frictional force is static friction. Okay. Right, and from ground frame we will not keep pseudo force, from accelerating reference frame we will keep pseudo force. Now your friction, okay, between the blocks, for you to decide, okay, common issues will be whether it is static or dynamic. This you must be able to decide. Okay, dynamic in the sense I am referring to kinetic friction. Okay, so let us use the word kinetic friction. Okay, so your friction static or kinetic you have to decide. Then you have to decide direction. This direction will be from logic. Okay, so from logic and reference frame. Okay, from logic and reference frame you will decide the direction of friction. Okay, and coming to the magnitude part, okay, coming to the magnitude of friction, alright, so your magnitude is, okay, your line of approach will be like this. We will assume static friction, we will assume static friction, and if we get value of friction less than limiting static friction, okay, limiting static friction value is mu s into n. Okay, we will assume, okay, static friction, and if we get a value less than limiting static friction, then static friction exists between the blocks, static friction exists between the surfaces, else kinetic friction. Okay, so I'll elaborate, but these are the points that I want you to keep in mind. Okay, so you have to just think logically whether it is static or kinetic, what could be possible, that is one thing. And second thing is direction, you have to decide purely from logic and reference frame. And next thing is magnitude, okay, and that too we will assume initially it is static friction, and if we get a value less than limiting static friction, then obviously between the blocks there will be static friction, else there will be kinetic friction. Okay, now keep this in mind. Now, okay, let us say you have two blocks like this. One block's mass is m1, other block's mass is m2. Okay, now how to decide whether it is static or kinetic friction? I mean logically if you think, okay, for example, if this block moves with speed v1 and if this block moves with speed v2, okay, and let us say this is a smooth surface. Now I have told you, okay, between two blocks, if you are trying to decide whether it is static or kinetic friction, what is that you are supposed to do? You have to stand on one of these surfaces. So if you are standing between these surfaces like this, with respect to m2, if m1 moves it is kinetic friction, and if m1 doesn't move it is static friction. Okay, how to decide the type of friction between the blocks means, okay, there will be static friction between the surfaces if surfaces are relatively at rest with respect to another. So here, okay, logic wise if you are talking, okay, logically speaking, what must happen is for these two blocks, okay, if this is smooth and if it's a rough surface, the surface between M1 and M2, if it is rough, okay, what is supposed to happen here is, okay, what is supposed to happen here is this, if somebody is standing on this surface M2, with respect to M2, if M1 moves, there will be kinetic friction, else there will be static friction. So I will write that, okay, with respect to one of the surfaces, with respect to one of the surfaces, if other block is at rest, if other body is at rest, then there will be static friction. If other body is in motion, then there will be kinetic friction. Okay, if it is at rest, static friction exists between the blocks, and if it is in motion, then there will be kinetic friction between the blocks. Okay, right, getting my point? Between two surfaces, how will you decide the type of friction? Means if you stand on one of the surfaces, if other moves with respect to that particular surface, then there will be kinetic friction. If other body does not move, then there will be static friction. So in this case, okay, in this case, if it is static friction, V1 is supposed to be equal to V2. Your relative velocity of 2 or 1 relative to 2 is equal to 0. Relative velocity is 0 and velocities are supposed to be equal, where V1 and V2 are velocities from ground. And for kinetic friction, your V1 is not equal to V2, your V relative is not equal to 0. Okay, right? Getting my point? So between two surfaces, what kind of friction will exist? Means it will be static friction if surfaces are relatively at rest with respect to one another, and it will be kinetic friction if surfaces are in motion with respect to one another. Okay, so first, okay, keep this idea in mind. Okay, keep this idea in mind, point number 1 and point number 2. Okay, right? Hello? 2 kosta class lo 2 మీరు తినండి. ఓకే, టైం పడుతుంది. Alright, so keep this in mind. Alright, so with this I will continue further. Okay, so now I will give you simple situations and I want you to decide what kind of friction is there between these two surfaces in different examples. Alright, so first case is you have two blocks M1 and M2. Okay, it is at rest, it is at rest. Okay, next, second, this is M1, one more block is at M2. Alright, so this is moving with some speed V1, this is moving with some speed V2. Okay, direction of friction, secondary thing. Alright, first try to give the only type of friction, that's all. So this is M1, this is M2, its acceleration is A1, this acceleration is A2. Okay, so your simple question is identify type of friction. Identify type of friction. Next I will give you direction of friction, next case, but first in this case what are the types of friction you have. So what is your answer in the first case? So if you are standing here, okay, your relative velocity of 1 with respect to 2, if you are standing on it, okay, it is static friction. So because your relative velocity is equal to 0, you will have static friction. Relative velocity is 0, static friction. Okay, right? Next, here two possibilities are there here. If V1 is equal to V2, your relative velocity will be equal to 0, then in such a case there will be static friction. And if V1 is not equal to V2, then obviously there will be relative velocity. So there will be, okay, V relative is not equal to 0, you will have kinetic friction. Now remember an important point, that is, many people will think that because these two blocks are moving there will be kinetic friction, but no, if both are moving with same speed, for example if top block is moving with some 3 meters per second, bottom block also moves with 3, obviously both are at same speed, so they are at rest indirectly. Okay, so here what is the thing? Here there is possibility of relative velocity becoming 0, so static friction will exist when both are moving with same speed. If there is relative velocity, that is relative velocity if it is not equal to 0, okay, then there is possibility of kinetic friction. Okay, now coming to this case, okay, can you say what kind of friction is there looking at these accelerations? A1 is acceleration of top block, A2 is acceleration of second block. Any guess? So here also same thing. Okay, it doesn't matter whether A1 is equal to A2 or, okay, it has nothing to do with A1 equal to A2 case and A1 not equal to A2 case. Okay, don't look at that part. Okay, it has nothing to do with accelerations. Always check instantaneous velocities. Okay, always check instantaneous velocities. If they are equal, then obviously static friction. Okay, at a particular instant, okay, at a particular instant, okay, that is at a particular point of time you can take, if velocities are equal and if velocities are not equal. If they are equal, static, okay, and if they are not equal, kinetic. Velocities will decide. Don't look at the accelerations. Okay, hope you have understood this. Okay, so finally what is that I am telling? Between two blocks, which kind of friction means? You stand on one of the block. Okay, you stand on one of the block, and with respect to this your velocity of one will be, okay, relative velocity. You will reverse this. V1 minus V2 is the velocity if they are moving in same direction. If they are moving in opposite direction, V1 plus V2. So if that relative velocity, if it is 0, static, if it is not 0, kinetic friction. Okay, hope you have understood this example. From these examples, what is the message that I want you to get? Identifying the type of friction. Okay, next, your next thing is once you have identified, okay, you need to give direction of friction. Okay, magnitude we will find out. Next is how to decide direction of friction. Our next idea is, okay, our next idea is deciding the direction of friction. Okay, so I will write that very clearly. How to decide direction of friction. How to decide direction of friction. Okay, now there are a lot of ways in which we will decide the direction of friction. Okay, in any method answer will become same, but you logically think about the reference frame usually. Okay, and then try to decide it. So for example, let us say you have two blocks. This is M1 and this is M2. Okay, now on this block I am applying some force F1, on this block I am applying some force F2. Okay, why to drag it too much? I am considering two simple cases. This is kind of generalized case. Okay, let us say this is smooth. Let's not worry about friction between this and this. Okay, I am leaving this gap to indicate the friction. Now here, if you look at this scenario, okay, if you look at this scenario, two possibilities are there. Okay, one possibility is friction can act backwards on the top block and forward on the bottom block. Okay, so one possibility is on M1. Okay, so this F1 is acting this way, friction could act backwards. on M2, okay, friction could act forward, F2 also can act this way. This is possibility 1. Your one more possibility is, if F1 is acting this way, friction could act forward, and on M2 if you take, okay, friction could act backwards. Okay, so here hope you are getting, whatever happens, friction is internal. So my point is, if you look at this scenario, okay, here friction on one block, if it is acting backwards, on the other block it will act forward. Friction on this block is coming because of action reaction pair. So if this causes friction F in the forward direction, this will cause friction in the backward direction. For every action there is equal and opposite reaction. Okay, whatever happens, friction is internal. Okay, here I will write that point. If you consider two surfaces, between two surfaces friction is internal, okay, that means it will cancel off eventually. On one block if it is in the forward direction, on the other block it is in backward direction. Okay, now, okay, logically I will tell you, but for now understand this case will occur. Okay, this case will occur when, and this case will occur when. I will write it briefly. Okay, keep this point in mind, very important. That is, your friction will act in the backward direction on this block if accelerating tendency of M1 is more compared to 2. Okay, what will friction do is, friction slows down the fast moving block, friction accelerates the slow moving block. Okay, so my point is, for example, logically if you take this acceleration of this block, A1 is F1 by M1, for this block A2 is F2 by M2, right? Okay, without considering friction, I am looking at the accelerating tendency. Okay, it's not like final acceleration. Okay, I am just measuring this accelerating tendency. Accelerating tendency, it's not acceleration, I am just kind of calculating the accelerating tendency. So if you look at this, your F1 by M1 value, if it is big, this has more tendency to accelerate towards right compared to this F2 by M2. If F1 by M1 is big compared to F2 by M2, this has more accelerating tendency. So obviously what will happen? Friction will act in the backward direction to slow it down. Okay, getting my point? Friction opposes relative motion. So whichever wants to accelerate fast, friction will slow it down. Whichever is moving slow, friction will accelerate it. Okay, so in this case, logically I will show it, don't worry. So your F1 by M1, if it is greater than F2 by M2, your friction will act backwards. Okay, if which block's accelerating tendency is more, okay, your friction will reduce it. If F1 by M1 is big, this is having more accelerating tendency, so friction will slow it down. F2 by M2, if it is small, it is having less acceleration, so your friction will support it. Okay, friction helps the slow accelerating body, friction opposes the fast accelerating body in this case. Okay, friction opposes relative motion, right? So whichever is having more tendency to accelerate, it will slow it down. Whichever is having less tendency to accelerate, friction will support it to accelerate more. So this will be the case when F1 by M1 is less than F2 by M2. Okay, F2 by M2, if it is big, this will have more accelerating tendency, M2. So friction will act backwards. Okay, like this, logically you are supposed to decide the direction of friction. Okay, so whichever block is having more acceleration, friction will slow it down. Whichever is having less acceleration, friction will support it. Okay, so keep this in mind. Okay, keep this idea in mind. How this is coming, I will tell you with reference frame and all. I will explain in detail. But first, okay, print this idea in your mind. Okay, now different cases I will give you. Logically, you have to decide the direction of friction. I am not worried about whether it is static or kinetic. With numbers we will decide whether it is static. Mass I will give you 1 kg, 2 kg, force I will give you. Then using that you are supposed to decide the friction. Okay. So now I am erasing this. Hope you have copied it down. If not, pause the video clip and then copy it down. Alright. So now logically, okay, I have told you how to decide the direction of friction, but still I'll give more elaboration onto this idea. So for example, let us say you have a block of mass m2, okay, and another block of mass m1. On this you are applying some force. Okay, what is that you are doing? You are applying some force on m2. Okay, now I will ask you a question. What is the direction of friction in this case? Okay, so on m1, what is the direction? Type, magnitude we will discuss later. First let us concentrate only on the direction part. So this is m1 and this is m2. You have applied some force F. Now tell me whether friction will act on this block m1 in the forward direction or backward direction. So now I told you decide reference frame, right? So from ground frame, if you are looking for example, okay, and from reference frame of block m2, two things are possible. Okay, now whatever happens, friction is internal. I have told you that point very clearly. Now for example, if I hold a book in my hand, okay, and if I keep a box like this, if I apply force on this book and push this book or pull this book, okay, right, what will happen? When the book moves, this box also moves, right? So in this case, if this surface is rough, okay, whether it will move or not we will decide later. For now, assume that this surface is smooth. Now if you look at this block, okay, m2, when m2 is moving, obviously m1 also will accelerate towards right. Okay, so if some force must be there, no, right? If you look at only m1, when you are observing from ground frame here, if you are observing from ground, if f is moving towards right, sorry, if that system is moving to m2 is moving towards right, obviously m1 will move towards right. Okay, here it is rough surface. Okay, right now I am considering only 2 block system. 3 block system I will consider later. First let us look at the common junction here between m1 and m2 only I am targeting. So now between m1 and m2, if surface is rough, if m2 moves, m1 also will move. So on m1 there is only normal reaction n upwards, gravitational force m1g downwards. So there must be some force towards right to accelerate, so that force is friction. Okay, whether it is static or kinetic, logically we will decide later. But with respect to ground frame, we know that m1 is accelerating. So how will m1 accelerate? There must be some force. So I have told you that force is friction. If not, bluntly, those of you who are struggling to understand, okay, there is nothing tough. Still, previous logic, F1 by m1, acceleration of this is, accelerating tendency of this is 0. For this it is F by m2, some big value compared to m1. So obviously what will happen? On the bottom block, friction is, because this is having greater tendency, friction will act backwards. So if friction is acting backwards on m2, automatically it is supposed to act in the forward direction on m1. Okay, right? Next, from reference frame of m2 if you take, okay, from reference frame of m2 if you take, now if you are standing on this block, okay, overall your system is, if you consider these two together as a system, your system will accelerate towards right. So you have to keep pseudo force backwards, right? If you are standing on m1, okay, sorry, on m2, what will happen? Pseudo force is mass times acceleration of reference frame in reverse direction. So your pseudo force of m1 into acceleration of 2, pseudo force acts this way in backward direction. So to balance this pseudo force, friction will act in the forward direction if you are standing on at this point. Okay, so or else logically you can do F1 by m1, F2 by m2. Previous case I have explained, no. So whichever is big, it will oppose that bigger acceleration. Okay, friction will slow down that bigger accelerating tendency. That you remember, all this is not required. Okay, so whichever is whichever is having bigger accelerating tendency, friction will slow it down. Get that point? That is enough. Okay, so from both reference frames I have decided it, but still, okay, simple questions I will give you. Decide the direction of friction, then everything I will explain in detail. So in this case, what is the answer? Okay, just simply give the direction. On this it is topwards, on this it is backwards. Okay, next, second example. Okay, this is M1, I will apply force F on this. This is M2. Okay, here it is smooth, here it is rough. Okay, don't think that it is flying. Now what is the answer? So look at that F by M1. F1 by M1 is bigger for top block. On the bottom block there is no force at all. So what is the direction of friction? It is backwards on the top block and it is forward on the bottom block. Okay, right? So because this surface is smooth, on M2 there is no other friction required. Next, when it comes to, okay, M1, M2, F1, F2, what will happen in this case? What is the direction of friction? Two possibilities. So if M1 and on M2, okay, on this friction will act in backward direction. Okay, on this it will act in forward direction, provided when F1 by M1 is greater than F2 by M2. When accelerating tendency of one block is bigger than other, this is the case. Next case is, this is M1, this is M2. So on this friction will act in the forward direction, on this it will act in the backward direction, provided when which condition is met? F2 by M2 is greater than F1 by M1. Okay, like this you are supposed to logically decide the direction of friction. Okay, now so far what is that I have explained? If you already know the velocities, one way you can give the type of friction is looking at relative velocity. If relative velocity is zero, static friction, else kinetic friction. Next, second thing is deciding the direction of friction. So deciding the direction of friction, how will you decide? You look at this condition, whether if this F1 by M1, whichever is big or whichever is small. Okay, you look at the accelerating tendencies. If accelerating tendency of one particular block, if it is more, friction will slow it down. If accelerating tendency of particular block, if it is small, friction will support it. Okay, so friction opposes relative motion, right? So whichever is having greater acceleration, friction will reduce it. Whichever is having smaller acceleration, friction will try to increase it. Okay, keep this in mind. Whether it is static or kinetic, how to decide with maths I will tell you. I will give numbers, I will give you coefficients, everything. Okay, so keep this in mind. Now let us go to the steps. Okay, so steps to follow. Okay, hope you have copied it down. If not, pause the video clip, copy everything. So your next thing is, okay, next thing is, okay, steps to follow. Okay, steps to follow to calculate friction. In the bracket I will write magnitude, direction, then acceleration. Okay, indirectly type will automatically be covered of blocks. Okay, in the questions they will give you some values and they will give you a 2-block system or 3-block system, and then they will ask you to calculate the accelerations. So such kind of things, how will you actually do it? Okay, how will you decide it? Step by step I will tell you. Okay, now Okay, first step is calculate limiting static friction. Limiting static friction is mu s into n, coefficient of static friction into normal reaction. Okay, this is the maximum possible value of, okay, maximum possible value of static friction. Okay, in different books these steps will be different, but I am giving you according to my style. Next, your second step is, okay, decide reference frame comma direction of friction if you can. Okay, decide reference frame and direction of friction. Okay, next, third step, okay, most important part. I will, okay, for understanding sake, I will take this. I have two blocks M1 and M2. Between these blocks I will try to calculate. Let us say you are given mu s and mu k. Some force F1, F2 is given like this. With numbers I will tell you. Don't worry. This surface is smooth. Okay. Alright. So decide reference frame and direction of friction. Okay. So you will decide the reference frame and direction of friction. Obviously I have told you how to decide it. Now if you consider these two together as a system, okay, if there is, okay, a common acceleration, obviously it is static friction. Okay, if both are starting from rest, obviously after some time what will happen, both the blocks, if they have common acceleration, both will have same velocities. Okay, so here indirectly what is that I am doing is, assume that there is common acceleration. Assume common acceleration. Okay, indirectly static friction is what I am assuming. Indirectly static friction. Okay, assume common acceleration for the blocks. So what is the common acceleration here means, okay, whether friction acts in forward direction, static or kinetic, it doesn't matter. Okay, if friction acts this way, still if you consider these two together as a system, only F1 and F2 are external forces. Friction is internal. Or if friction acts forward on the top and backward on the box, still friction is internal. So your common acceleration is net force on the system. Okay, F net on the system of blocks M1 and M2. Okay, net force on the system of blocks. Okay, by total mass, that is M1 plus M2. Okay, net force on the system of blocks by total mass of M1 plus M2. Okay, now once you assume this common acceleration, substitute this common acceleration, substitute common acceleration in FBD of any of blocks, any one of the blocks, and calculate static friction value. Okay, indirectly I am assuming static friction, no? So you will calculate the static friction value. Okay, so if you do so, okay, in the answer, okay, answer lies in this step. If friction value is less than or equal to limiting static friction, then your answer is, okay, static friction exists between the blocks. Okay, static friction and your acceleration of blocks is A1 is equal to A2 is equal to A common. Okay, and if F is greater than or equal to FSL, okay, then obviously the static friction value cannot be greater than limiting static friction, right? Highest possible value of frictional force is only limiting static friction. Okay, so you should not put equal to. So if it is greater than limiting static friction, then there will be kinetic friction. Kinetic friction value obviously it is fixed, direction will not change. So A1 is not equal to A2, and which is obviously not equal to A common. So from FBDs calculate A1 and A2. Okay, I will follow this steps as such that I am giving. Okay, these things will appear tough, but just remember this. Okay, if you just remember this, okay, 100% your job is done. It will not be tough at all. I will take care of rest of the things. Okay, so keep this in mind. Each and every question I will do it with help of 2 reference frames, but keep these points in mind. Okay, now I will do step by step with different questions, different examples. Alright, so let us start. I am erasing this stuff. Block on block will be tough if you do not follow these steps. Everything, deciding the direction of friction, every point that I have discussed, you must remember. And you should remember all these steps. Okay, so come on, let's do a question, then you will get clarity. Okay, I am giving you these steps, I will follow these steps. Okay, you blindly follow, you must to get the answers. Okay, so you will assume static friction. In the end, if you don't get static friction, obviously it is kinetic friction. Okay, if your friction force value is less than limiting static friction, then that will be the case. Alright, so now let us start. Let us say you have a 1 kg block. Let us say you have a 2 kg block. Okay, I will give you different cases. Case 1. Okay, let us say this is smooth. Okay, now your coefficient of friction between these 2 blocks is, try this question simultaneously. Mu s is 0.4, mu k is 0.3. What is that I am doing is, I am applying a force of F here. Okay, I am applying a force of F. Let me give the magnitude. Okay, so it will be let us say it is 10 Newton initially. Okay, I am applying a force of 10 Newton. Question is, find magnitude acceleration of blocks. Find F comma A1 comma A2. If it is static, both will be equal. If it is kinetic, then it will be different. Okay, so come on, give it a try. So if you are doing this question from ground frame, your limiting static friction value is mu s into n. So on this top block of 1 kg, 10 Newton will act downwards, normal reaction n will act upwards. Okay, so 1 g, that is equal to 10. Friction will act in forward direction. Okay, so your limiting static friction first itself I will calculate. So 0.4 into n. Okay, I have to consider n between these 2 blocks. Between these 2 blocks, how much is the n value means 10. So 0.4 into 10. So that is equal to 4. Because in the vertical direction net force will be 0. When it is moving horizontally, it is not accelerating upwards, right? So net force in the horizontal vertical direction it is 0. So n minus 10 it is equal to 0. So your limiting static friction value is 4. Okay, so now you have got the limiting static friction value, keep it aside. Next, on this 2 kg block, on the top block friction will act forward. How did I decide? F1 by m1 it is smaller than F2 by m2. So on the bottom block your 10 Newton will act forwards, friction will act backwards. Okay, so any doubts, just let me know. Okay, on this block normal reaction N, because of top block, will be this way. Gravitational force mg 2g and N dash will be acting this way, but this vertical calculation is of no use. Calculating N dash will take place if this surface is rough. Okay, let's not worry about bottom surface now. Okay, so let us look at the horizontal direction. So here only one force is there in the horizontal direction. So F is 1 times common acceleration. Here it is 10 minus F is equal to 2 times common acceleration. Okay, right? So F is 1 times common acceleration. Here it is 10 minus F is equal to 2 times common acceleration. Okay, right? So you just simply draw lines. Okay, I mean I am just simply drawing a line here. Now I told you whatever happens, friction will eventually cancel off. You will get net force by total mass only. But still, for formality's sake, you add these two, F and F will anyhow cancel off. You are going to get 10 is equal to 3 times common acceleration. Common acceleration is 10 by 3. Now, is this the answer? No, we have assumed that there is static friction. Okay, this common acceleration is what? Assumption. This is assumption, this is assumption. Whether it is correct or not, we will get to know now. Now, substitute this common acceleration into this equation. So, if you substitute this into this equation, how much you are getting? F equal to a common 1 times common acceleration, that is equal to 10 by 3, which is 3.33 something. Okay, which is friction value. Now 10 by 3 is less than limiting static friction. Right? We have got an answer. We assumed that static friction, and we have got our static friction force value less than limiting static friction. So obviously what is the thing? Here F is less than FSL. So static friction exists between the blocks. Okay, how much is the magnitude? Means your F is equal to 10 by 3. Okay, static friction exists between the blocks, and how much is the value? 10 by 3, and acceleration of first block and second block will be equal to common acceleration, which is equal to 10 by 3. This is your final answer. Okay, now in this step, if you are getting a value which is greater than limiting static friction, then kinetic friction will be there. What will you do? You will substitute Fk is equal to 1 times A1 and 10 minus Fk is equal to 2 times A2. Fk is mu k into normal reaction. That example I will give you, but first copy it down. Okay, right? Hope you have copied it down. Okay, pause the video clip, copy this. Okay, every question that I am giving, you first genuinely try it. Okay, after you try it, then only you are supposed to continue. Okay, so next case is, let us say instead of 10 Newton, in the same scenario I am keeping 20 Newton. Okay, case 2 is instead of 10 here, I am keeping 20 Newton. This is your case. No, you keep it as case 1, first part as A, second part is B. Okay, I will keep adding, or else case 2, what is there? Maybe number of cases will increase. Case 2. Case 2, come on. So once again nothing is going to change. So same FBD, same story. Okay. So F is 1 times A common. 20 minus F is 2 times A common. You don't need to do all this stuff. Directly you can write total force by total mass, total external force. So 20 by 3. Okay. Even after cancelling you will get same thing. So 20 is equal to 3 times A common is equal to 20 by 3. Substitute this back 20 by 3 into this equation. Okay. So F is 1 times A common, that is equal to 1 times what is common acceleration? 20 by 3. Okay, so your friction value is 20 by 3. So it is 6 point something. Okay, 6.3 something, you will get it. Now if you look at this, okay, 6.6 whatever it is. So 6.6 if you are getting, obviously it is greater than 0.4 into limiting static friction is mu s into n, that is equal to 0.4 into n value is 10, 4. So here your assumed friction value, here your F is greater than limiting static friction. So obviously this is practically not possible. So which kind of friction will exist? Kinetic friction exists between the blocks. Okay, kinetic friction exists on the blocks. So if kinetic friction exists, what will happen? Okay, so what is that you are supposed to do? Okay, your kinetic friction value will be Fk is equal to mu k into n. So mu k is 0.3. So 0.3 into normal reaction n is m into g. So that is equal to 10. So that is equal to 3. Okay, so your first block value of acceleration is, on this 1 kg block your kinetic friction will act. So Fk is equal to 1 times acceleration of 1. But what is Fk? 3. 3 is equal to A1. So that means your first block will move with acceleration of A1 equal to 3. Next, take 2 kg block. On this there is 20 Fk backwards. So 20 minus Fk is equal to 2 times A2. Okay, what is Fk value? Fk value is 3, yeah. So 20 minus 3 is equal to 2 times A2. A2 is equal to 17 by 2. Okay. So we got the acceleration of first one, second one, kinetic friction. Everything is given. Okay. So like this you are supposed to calculate all the values. Okay. Right. Next. Now let us go to third case. Okay, different, I will give you with different examples. Okay, case 2 is done, no? Now case 3. No, it is not a case 3, just simply a question. Okay, for understanding sake, I just need to know whether you have followed this or not. Okay, so it's not case 3 exactly, but okay, some example. Okay, I have 1 kg block and 2 kg block like this, same scenario. I am applying F here. Mu s 0.4, mu k 0.3. Question is, okay, calculate maximum value of capital F so that both blocks move together. Or maximum possible common acceleration, whatever, any case answer is same. Okay, I mean if you get one value of one, you can give the value of another. Calculate the maximum value of capital F so that both the blocks will move together. Okay, now if you did not try it, pause the video clip and then try it. Okay, I will start continuing the solution, but trying is most important part here. So now if you look at this case, okay, so on this 1 kg block, friction will act forward. On this 2 kg block, friction will act backwards. This obviously we knew it. Okay, next, steps wise if you go, first step is limiting static friction. It is mu s into n. So that is mu s is 0.4. What is n here means n is upwards and mg is downwards. So magnitude wise it is 10, that is equal to 4. Okay. So now if this block moves with common acceleration, f is equal to 1 times a common, f is equal to ma, and capital F minus small f is how much? 2 times a common, right? What is that I have done? I have written force equation, acceleration equation in the horizontal direction. Okay, your frictional force is 1 times common acceleration in the horizontal direction on the top block, and a capital F minus small f is 2 times common acceleration on the second block. Alright, so now what is that I am going to do is, okay, we will eliminate common acceleration. Okay, in maximum minimum values questions that you are going to get, okay, eliminate common acceleration and express in terms of, express small f in terms of capital F. Okay, why I will tell you, you will get to know now. Now how is that I will do? I will substitute this into this equation. So what will this give me? F minus f is equal to 2 times, what is common acceleration? F. Okay, AC value is f. So capital F is equal to 3f, small f is capital F by 3. Now you have got this. Now how do we get the inequality is, we know that, okay, what is that we know? Small f is less than or equal to limiting static friction. So you take capital F by 3, small f is what? Capital F by 3, that is less than or equal to, what is limiting static friction value here? 4. So capital F is less than or equal to 12. So in this case if your applied force is less than 12, what will happen? Both blocks will move together, and if it is greater than 12, there will be kinetic friction between these two blocks and both blocks will move separately with respect to one another. Okay, now many people what they do is, irrespective of the question, they will calculate this case directly, and from this, if force is smaller than this, static, and if force is greater than this, then there is kinetic, directly they will decide. Okay, if you want to cut short the time, directly, I mean logically, if you are able to calculate this, you can decide. Okay, when more than one options are there, okay, in the exam you calculate this value, and based on this you can decide what kind of friction is going to act between the blocks. Okay, right. So I have done basic 2 sub cases in this lecture. Now in the next lecture, we will do one more. Okay, in the next lecture we will continue, but in this lecture I will give one more question. Okay, what is there? Same, different numbers, okay, will be there. 2 block system, 3 block system, lot are possible. So I have given 2 cases, right? Next, case 3. This is a 1 kg block. I am applying capital F. This is a 2 kg block. Once again, this surface is smooth. This is mu s is 0.4, mu k is 0.3. What is your question is, directly we will decide like this. Find maximum value of capital F so that both blocks move together. In the previous case, to get maximum acceleration, whatever answer you are getting, you substitute it back into the equations. Okay, so find maximum value of capital F so that both blocks move together. Okay, then if we know this, how will you check it? I will give you just simply 2 numbers, you can decide it. Give the answer. So on 1 kg block, steps. First, limiting static friction value, how much it is? Mu s into n, 0.4 into mg, 1 into g is 10, so that is equal to 4. F and F will act this way. F minus F is equal to 1 times common acceleration. On 2 kg block, friction will act in forward direction. I have told you how to decide the direction of friction, so that will not be a case. F is equal to 2 times A common. Now from this equation, A common is F by 2. Substitute this back into this equation. If I do that, okay, capital F minus small f is, okay, I am coming back to this equation, that is A common is F by 2. So capital F is 3F by 2, small f is 2 times capital F by 3. So what is our inequality? F is less than or equal to FSL. So 2 times capital F by 3 is less than or equal to limiting static friction is 4. 2 ones, 2 2s. So F is less than or equal to 6. Okay. So you should have on the top block a force which is less than or equal to 6. If it is less than 6, static friction. If it is greater than 6, it is kinetic friction. And maximum possible acceleration is total force by total mass, that is 6 by 3, that is equal to 2. Okay, A max, common acceleration. Okay, like this you are supposed to solve the basic questions. Alright. So that's all for today. In the next lecture we will continue from here. Thank you.